They all sound the same. War isn't murder, good men don't die, children don't starve, and all the women survive. War isn't murder, that's what they say when you're fighting the devil. Murder's okay. War isn't murder, they're called casualties. There ain't a veteran with a good night's sleep. Let's talk about dead people. I mean a dead people. The dead don't feel honored, they don't feel that brave, they don't feel avenged, they're lucky if they got graves. Call your dead mother, ask her when she died. It's a deathly silence on the other line. The dead don't talk, but the children don't forget. So in 20 short years you could live to regret that. War isn't murder, there's money at stake. Hell, even Kushner agrees it's good real estate. War isn't murder, ask Netanyahu. He's got a song for that and a bomb for you. War isn't murder, it's an old desert faith. It's a nation state sanctioned righteous hate. Let's talk about dead people. I mean a dead people. If war isn't murder, it's the vengeance of God. If you can't see the bodies, they don't blow when they rot, and the flies don't swarm, and the children don't cry. If war isn't murder, good men don't die. So in a short 20 years when you vacation the strip, try not and think about the dead, and have a nice trip. War isn't murder, we should all give thanks. I saw it on a movie, give it up for Tom Hanks. War isn't murder, they don't ship out the poor, and the bullets they fire ain't part of the cure. War isn't murder, land is a right, but the bank's called dibs, it's something you can't fight. Let's talk about dead people. I mean a dead people. The dead don't feel honored, they don't feel that brave, they don't feel avenged, they're lucky if they got graves. Call your dead mother, ask her when she died. It's a deathly silence on the other line. It's a dark sacrifice made on your behalf, so get down on your knees and thank the sweet Lord that war isn't murder. We're all gonna die, from what I can gather. I saw it on a meme on my cracked ass screen. At least that's what I remember. Red hats on the horizon. Felt like choosing between AT&T or Verizon. Either way the service sucks and you can't hardly talk. They said there's gonna be change. Well, did they tell BlackRock? It's rain and fire, there's rivers of blood. It ain't funny, but I better get to work, 'cause my boss is a jerk, and being alive costs money. We're all gonna die. Oh boy, are we ever. Some call it the fascist, multinationalist, globalist cabal. I said, well buddy, don't go getting clever. We're all gonna die eventually, but it's a beautiful day, don't let it get in the way. Life's a great opportunity. Panic don't look that good on you, it don't look that good on me. We're all gonna die, but love is free. I went down to the office just to pick up my check and stumbled into a meeting sunk up to my neck. They had the wheels of bullshit spinning, and they sounded just a bit like this. I hear you? Let me speak to that. There's a whole lot you said that we need to unpack. What you're saying really resonates with me and the team, and that synergy, authenticity. How's your work-life balance? I'm just touching base. We're gonna table your concerns for a later date. We're gonna circle back, but we can pivot right here. Thanks for your input, we're all ears. I got the corporate speak and a sterile mind. If you're looking for me, I'll be a standing in line. And if the glacier of bullshit ever comes unglued, I'll have something to say if the statement's approved. The company won't give a damn when the shit really hits the fan. You'll be the only one to help, so it's important just to be yourself. At UPS, just be yourself. Walmart, just be yourself. Wells Fargo, just be yourself, you're dead. Amazon, be yourself. In the Amazon, be yourself, it'll help. At the end of the day, it is just what it is. Live, laugh, love, and keep calm and carry on your shit.
Hello. Hello. Hey there. Welcome, everybody. As usual. Oh, there goes the video because my computer is stupid. There we go. I think it's back to normal. Yes. Okay. So, welcome. This is my... Normally, it would be the Saturday stream, but today it's the Saturday stream on Sunday. Hi, Zeros. Hey there, Duck. Cha-ching. Keep grinding. Get that Sigma money. Because that's all that matters. Don't worry about anything else. Just make money. All things will come to fruition. Anyway, so that was the music of Jesse Wells. I posted a link in the chat. I like that Zeros redacted high. Of all things to redact. In any case, it's basically a guy who sings kind of folky songs about really big problems, really big shit, stuff that like a lot of people would try to make it sound like you're being conspiratorial when it's very much real. He doesn't sing about, the goofy stuff. But it's mostly about like the serious, really grim, really fucked up shit happens in the world. But he does it with a nice accent and an upbeat feel to it, and some nice guitar. So, and so humor, a lot of jokes in his music. Jesse Wells, a lot of little funny jokes. It's the kind you're supposed to enjoy, laugh to, but also a reminder of how bleak things can be. And there's like this bit of anger in there that I really appreciate. So yeah, check them out. Let me get some other type of music here going. We'll get some background tunes. Listen to some. That's good enough, I think. Put a little bit of Gurdjieff. Russian stuff. Fun times. Okay, so welcome, and I guess I should say this stuff at the beginning so that people that don't stick around know. If you end up liking this stream or like any of the videos I've uploaded, by the way, check out the latest. I interviewed a schizoid comedian, so very interesting gent. We had a nice, very offensive in many ways conversation. And that's what brought up the kind of dark humor aspect of things. When you're a traumatized person, all you can do is use humor to laugh at your trauma or traumatizing things, right? It's a way to stay sane. As I would argue, it's one of the healthier manners of mitigating that internal suffering. But hey, to each their own. In any case, if you like that, check that video out. It's worth it. And check out, he does comedy and stuff. And also, if you like everything, including, well, if you need somewhere to go as a schizoid, go to the Zoid Void on Discord. Search for it. We're an official community. I like to refer to it as an autonomous collective, but whatever. You can join it. There's an application process. Even if you're just gonna lurk, it's worth it. Trust me, just to lurk and just see what all us weirdos are doing in there and just rambling about. It might be there might be something you like in there, and God forbid you might actually find a human being in there that you can relate to. But yeah, if you like all that already, please support my Patreon. It's all there. It's all in the description. Join my Patreon. I need money. Okay. So the question for this week, I don't think I got too many responses, but it's okay. I have other stuff to talk about regardless. The question that I posed, or the prompt that I posed, was I did it late, so it's my fault if I didn't get that much. I wrote this. How has humor gotten you through dark times? Has laughing at the darkness in your life or the world helped you stay sane at times? Any anecdotes are appreciated. So, if you have something for me, go ahead and put it in chat. If you're still on the server, go ahead and submit it there while I'm still reading and stuff. I've had a few people submit stuff and then I didn't catch it toward the end, and I apologize for that. I should double check. Especially since it's happened twice already, where somebody submitted something during the stream, and I didn't get a chance to read it. So if that happened to you, anybody, apologies. In any case, that's the prompt. And in regards to humor, it's always been what I've used. It's all I've ever had. Right? It's what allows me to control my depression. It allows me to quell my anger, my frustration, my angst, if you will. It's one of the few tools at my disposal that has allowed me to, in some cases, almost stay alive. So, and I'm wondering how many schizoids use it as well. Whether it's very dry, or ironic, or sarcastic, or what have you. I'm wondering or sardonic, my favorite. I'm wondering how many Zoids use it for that reason. They like to watch satire or think about it, or of essentially how awful things can be, and because it's too much to take in. It's too much to absorb, especially if you're on my side of the tracks with the whole because I'm diagnosed as schizoid, I'm diagnosed ADHD, but I consider myself to be on the schizo spectrum because of the way I think about stuff. Everything's meta all the time, and because of the amount of pain in the world, it eats at me, it destroys me. Over the course of my life, it's been a constant feel haunted by the misery that I know consistently is occurring. But nonetheless, humor is how I've managed. But I'd like to know if that's the case with you. As someone that's a schizoid, I know we're oftentimes very disassociated or disconnected from our emotionality, our range. Maybe when we were younger, we had a little more hold of it, and that's kind of right for a lot of you guys. So I'm wondering, do you still use humor to manage these things at all? I'm losing everybody. People are just leaving. They're like, I don't get humor. Bye. I don't get jokes. Well, I'll just get started on the submissions, and then I'll talk about some other stuff after. Let's see here. Is the music too loud? If the music's too loud, please tell me, and I'll lower it. There we go. All right. see what I got. Yeah, I literally only have 3 submissions. Like I said, that's my fault. But if you have stories to tell, put them in chat or try to submit even now. And hopefully, if you do, like, I don't know, music level's fine. That's good, Doug. Thanks. All right. First submission. I guess understanding nothing is fair and not expecting much from anyone. Who cares if the glass is half full or half empty, because it's probably piss. Huh. I'm not sure what it has to do with the prompt about humor. It's understanding nothing is fair. I don't know if that's like part of some other, or maybe they're just saying it for whatever reason. I'm trying to see what it had to do with what I asked, but I can't quite discern what that might have been. That's good, Jenkins. Thank you. D-Mans, I was diagnosed with this 8 years ago. I haven't talked to anyone in 2 years. I'm isolated but not lonely. Yeah. It's weird, right? For a lot of schizoids, it's less about being lonely because you want people in your life in a consistent way, but more of a existential loneliness, right? Like you're alone. Like you're your own, it feels like you're your own anomalous being that doesn't belong with the very species you are a part of. That kind of existential loneliness can get to some people. But, just, I guess it depends. It depends on how disconnected you've become at this point. But, moving on. See here. All right, here we got one. Laughing is a bit like masturbating. It might make you feel better for a while, but sooner or later, the post-clarity is going to kick in, and the cold emptiness swallows you again. It never quite fills you up the way you hope, but nothing but an overdose can get you close. So I say, if an empty laugh or an unloving nut can keep you from unaliving yourself for one more day, shoot your shot and go manic, because nothing matters anyway. Whoa, that almost rhymed. That was like a poem. Thank you. That was nice. That one was nice. Shoot your shot in more ways than one. I would say I like. I would say I enjoy something being really amusing and funny and like entertaining more than I would say more than most nuts. So I would say that in most cases, right? Now, if I'm doing stuff with wifey, that's a little different. But in regards to masturbation, yes, I'd rather be laughing at something than masturbating. Absolutely. Much more of a distraction and a calmingness that it can help with. But thank you for that. Now, this one's long, but it's the only one I have left. Sadly, it's like I said, like my fault. I put the question up on a Friday. I usually do it on a Wednesday. Likely, I would have gotten a few more at least, or it's just a bad question. I don't know. Maybe the most schizoids out there don't really have much of a sense of humor. It's hard for me to believe, considering our meme channel on the server. We get a lot of people posting a lot of funny and weird shit on there. And it rarely feels like a shit post as well, which is great. All right, here we go. Dear Angst, I have a habit of cracking jokes or sometimes even laughing uncontrollably in bad situations. I remember distinctly one time when I was 15, people were gathered setting off fireworks in my neighborhood. My family went to set ours off, and it was really dark, so they were kind of fumbling with this one big box style, one with a lot of little Roman candles. They ended up setting it off sideways, blasting across the street and into our neighbor's house. Cars had to stop because the fireworks explosions blocked the road. People were screaming. My family was horrified. I was on the ground, doubled over laughing. My dad kicked it to try to aim it away from their house, and it ended up pointing at some kids down the street. Nobody got hurt, and the kids actually described it as awesome, but that could have been bad. As for dark times, it's hard for me to remember specific instances, but often when I think about how ridiculously fucked up the world is, I just end up laughing almost like a long-running TV show where the writers are just jumping bigger and bigger sharks, and writing is phoned in and doesn't even make any sense anymore. I think it's a disassociative coping mechanism thing, like I'm distancing myself from the situation by positioning myself as an onlooker watching the show. Even for situations where I must participate and can't just be an observer, I sometimes take an internal humor in things as though I'm just acting out the role. I deal with a lot of unusual characters at my job, and when I get more immature or confused slow types, I sometimes feel like I'm playing the unaware straight man, archetypal character from a comedy. I used to have a totally insane boss who would follow us around shouting, "Quickly, quickly!" to try to get us to work faster, among many other insane things. And I found a lot of humor in his abusive behavior, even when it was directed towards me. I even found humor and some weird enjoyment in my role responses as the humble worker that I was acting out, because it seemed like such a ridiculous option to be optimal to be the optimal way to get through a situation. In order to get him to avoid making huge inconvenient mistakes for me and other workers to deal with, I basically had to pretend to be way dumber and form these two stooges bit with him, and incept ideas into his head by making him think he thought of them, while making him feel like he was in charge and smarter. I got in way less shit than the people who reacted normally with anger or offense, because I flowed with his irrationality rather than butting heads. Funniest job I've ever worked, and one of the worst. Now that was a nice one. D-Mans, I have been told you're not as funny as you think you are multiple times in my life. I have never tried being funny. That's it. Well, first let me go over the longer message. I kind of vibe with what they're saying there, because when I've worked retail stuff over the years and any kind of, just anything. I'm 40, so I've had a lot of different jobs. And customers and things like that, people would just yell at me and get crazy. And like, depending on like what they were yelling about and how like incensed they were, my struggle wasn't about not getting mad or hurt. It was about not laughing. Like, that was the struggle, was not laughing in their face and getting them angrier or like myself in trouble. Because when I've had people like pointing and yelling, like it's so absurd, because like I obviously wasn't the one that caused the problem, and there are probably solutions if they would just shut up. But they don't, and they just keep going, and I just like, yes sir, yeah, oh, okay. Right, and inside though, I'm just like doubled over, or I'll laugh about it later. I'll be like, oh my god, like this is the life people lead. Like this is the hill you die on. This is what is just shaping your existence right now at this very moment. Is the fact that yesterday you called and somebody said they were going to hold something for you, and now it's not here, and it's not me, and I didn't know anything about it, and no one left a note. So now you're yelling at me, and it's funny as fuck. So yeah, I find being yelled at and by bosses or customers or whoever, I find it really funny, right? And I have done that. I play the role of like the very apologetic. Oh, it won't happen again, because like it's just so much easier, right? I don't think I can do that as much anymore. But yeah, when it comes to work, the only time I get really like distressed is when I'm angry at myself for making like an incompetent mistake of some kind that I could have easily avoided. Sir, I'm sorry, this novelty item was not entirely to your satisfaction. Actually, yeah, I've actually had that kind of happen. Like somebody paid like $150 for like some kind of, adult novelty, back when I did that work. And yeah, they would be like, how can you charge for this much for it? It doesn't even this. And I'm like I just don't know like what to say. Like I literally had a guy once come in, and he was complaining about this male adult novelty toy, and he was basically explaining to me that um, his his equipment was too small for him to enjoy it, and and that there's no adjustment for tightness, and other devices have that, and this one didn't, and they should have been informed by the sales rep. So having somebody like be really angry because they spent $150 or whatever on this thing, I mean, what do you do, right? So it's like, I'm sorry, that's what you're working with. Apologies. But in any case, yeah. In regards to the oh, hey, this is here. I'm gonna go ahead and undeafen if they decide they want to chat. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, in regards to what you put there, you're not as funny as you think you are multiple times. Yeah, it's like, wait, no. Was that the one I wanted to think about? Yeah. Like there's often times that I'll say shit that will get me in trouble. And I'll laugh, and it'll be like not I don't know, I'm not even making fun of somebody directly. They're talking about something. And I'll just find an opening, and I mostly say stuff that's funny to make myself laugh. And sometimes it works, sometimes it goes very poorly. Jenkins, I'm sure it would have gone over well to start warning customers that the product doesn't work well if their equipment is small. Yeah, I'm sure that would have been great. But my manager wasn't mad at me. They were just like, that guy's a loser. Like, what do you want to, like, who comes in and starts yelling about their thing, their toy? It's like, anyway, but yeah, I make jokes often to make myself laugh. I usually fail, but other people laughing is usually, it's just kind of a byproduct. Offending or bothering people that I already find atrocious is another byproduct that can be fun. Yeah, I was trying to think of some like actual examples, but my brain is empty at the moment. Yeah, it's pretty empty. I think I remembered something I said or did not that long ago, but but now I can't recall it. Oh wait, I got some stuff coming in here. I had somebody send me a message on the inside here that could have responded with, "May I suggest multiple layers of plastic wrap?" Yeah, I mean that could have worked, right? That might have done it. That might have helped significantly, I'm guessing. Let me see here. Yeah. So sadly, guys, I don't have a lot of submissions for this. But if you have questions for me about my humor, if you want to see, I guess some of my kind of sense of humor, watch that video where I talked to the schizoid comedian guy. We were just having fun back and forth. It was nice to talk to somebody that I don't have to worry. Like, making a joke about something horrible doesn't mean you condone the horrible thing. That's something that people don't seem to understand a lot of the time. Like if somebody, like, I don't know, got like something horrible happened to somebody or whatever, and then I go like, but you know, like the classic would be like they're telling you about some horrific thing that happened to somebody, and they obviously died, and then you ask, but did they die? Like, but they were beheaded, so like, you know, and it's like, it's not funny. That was, you know, this and that. And I'm like, it doesn't mean I condone his beheading. He's already beheaded. The people that are grieving him are not here. Who is this going to hurt? Alas. It's one of the things I cannot wrap my head around, says D-Mans. People taking their anger out on people, especially me. I can never forgive someone for shouting at me, literally enemy for life. Wow, can't relate, D-Mans. Cannot relate. People yelling at me is just like, it's entertainment. It's never bothered me. Like, about the only people that it would bother me to be yelled at by would be my wife, a few people that are in my proximity, or my children. Outside of that, especially if it's a perfect stranger, oh, it's a blast. It's a blast being yelled at and people getting crazy, and like you being utterly indifferent and knowing that you're the full source of this incensed person. Like, it's really funny. Like, especially if they think they're like making, like when people try to use anger, especially if you're working retail, they try to use feigned anger or exaggerated anger to get what they want as a customer. And some people in a panic will kind of like just give them what they want. I don't. I find it funnier because they did this, it's even less likely they're going to get anything. And the longer they do it, the worse, the more they're digging themselves into a hole. And I'm just like watching them shovel shit and getting ready to jump in it. Like, I'm okay, all right. Jenkins, it's hard to relate to that behavior. I usually just kind of feel bad that they made it to adulthood without being able to regulate themselves enough to not embarrass themselves publicly. Yeah, I could care less if they're embarrassing themselves publicly. I could also care less as far as like feeling bad, because we've all gone through various levels of shit, and various levels of bad environments and all sorts of stuff. You don't have to end up being a piece of shit to other people. That is a choice. Being a piece of shit to other people just because you had a shit life, well, that's a choice you made because you decided that's what makes me feel better. Just putting other people down, that makes me feel less pain. And so I want to inflict pain on others. I have no sympathy for anyone like that. As gross, is bad. Well, I don't think I have much more to say when it comes to the humor thing, but I do have to say some stuff about other fun topics, something I'm essentially going through. Okay, so this, I don't know how interesting this will be, but let's go. So, I know this is going to sound silly considering the name of my channel or everything, but I feel like I'm starting, like, I feel like my anger, I was talking to somebody, but my anger is returning. Like my like an actual, like, because I'm getting a lot of my feelings back working on my shit for as hard and as long as I've been working on it now. And a lot of like my emotional range is the disassociation from it that I kind of built up over the decades is like teeter-tottering. It's like going away. It's like bit by bit. And so I feel, well, the problem is I feel my depression a lot more extra, so that's not good. But I also feel any small kind of sense of like good feelings. I can actually enjoy it. But I'm also getting my anger back, because I think about when I was in my 20s, my anger was like misdirected, but it was fiery. Right? And over the course of my 20s and then my 30s, the flame didn't die, but it became like a husk of its former self. I started being more and more resigned, right? More resigned to my station in things, in the world, and how it functions, and the horrors that it constantly inflicts upon countless millions. And well, it's not countless because it's millions. So that's just stupid. That's a stupid way to put it. But because I've been kind of reconnecting to the feelings and stuff, that feeling of resonation is starting to be overtaken by the anger. And I haven't felt this type of anger in at least 15 years. Um, and that anger is associated with my disgust mechanism with unfairness and just unfairness. I have a very, very potent disgust mechanism or moral intuition when it comes to unfairness deep in my monkey brain. And before, I would say this started happening, when I would see unfairness or hear about unfairness, it would just make me go, par the course. I hate my species. And then I would just get kind of quiet and then just kind of move on. Because I used to get angry. And it felt progressively impotent. The anger. It was always directed at the stupidest things when I was young. It was always at people, humans themselves, right? Interactions and how they function and everything. And it was just so unproductive, right? And over the years, my metacognitive capacity is significantly increased, but my connection to my emotions has significantly decreased. So now I have this enhanced or well-developed metacognitive skill set, but I'm actually connecting to those feelings now. So now my fury, my fire is feeling more directed, more specific. It's like my anger is less angsty and more anger, more of a righteous indignation. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know J-Rig did one on that. That's kind of cool. That's cool. But yeah, I want to be. I used to enjoy being angry. Not enjoy, but it was like it was like something that kind of really motivated me. It wasn't just this kind of cold spite that I brought up many times in the past. Like I was always I don't know how to explain it. It's a difficult thing, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the anger. And it's letting me think straight about a lot of stuff. And honestly, I think one of the things that kind of inspired it, I'm a 9 out of 10 schizoid. Unfortunately, the only schizoid trait I am missing is the one saving grace for SPD, indifference to criticism. I have cluster A paranoid traits just to really do my life. Wow, that's never good, man. That's tough. Paranoia, bad times. Luckily, I used to have paranoid traits, but it was always meta weird shit. It was never like individual people. Oh, the United Health. Oh, yeah. I thought his United Health video was pretty funny, though. It was funny, but it was like, wow, dude, like, if something bad happens and then they discover they were a J-Reg fan, like, they're going to be like, inspired by J-Reg to commit this, crime. Because of the way they did the video. It was, I don't know if they edited it since then, but they were just, yeah, there was like, yeah. Better to aim at the systems than the individuals. The role of CEO is more dangerous than any individual's CEO. The role itself, yeah, of course. How it functions and what it is, right? That's what needs to be looked at. But it's actually been, in regards to that, part of this anger that's returning in me, it has to do with, it is connected to that, but it's more about how people are reacting to it. Right. It was really cool to see this sort of, and it's something I haven't seen I just haven't seen, was seeing, left and right political divides just kind of crumble in the face of like some absurd amount of unfairness, or an unfairness principle being basically maimed and destroyed in front of you. And the actions of Mangione basically, I think it lit a flame inside some people. Like they almost got reminded of their that principle, that unfairness principle, that disgust. It like triggered it. It threw a match into it. And it was interesting to watch. And part of the reason I became more and more resigned over the years, and that my fire just became cold, is because I would, when I was younger, I would try to tell people, I'd be very passionate, and I would say, but this is wrong, this is not how things should be. There's so many options. Why is it like this? And so on, right? When I was young. And I would just be met with indifference, or what are you going to do? Or some kind of learned helplessness. And a variety of things like that. Things like the oh, no, I thought we were going to say it felt like a global bystander effect, if you know about that. And so when I continuously saw evidence of this constant sort of bystander effect type deal, it just killed. It killed that that kind of anger in me. And it's kind of cool to have a lot of my spite sort of turning more into like righteous indignation. And that's actually been a pretty cool thing that's been going on internally. And I'm not sure how to direct it 100% yet. I just know I'm getting angrier. But I like that I have something to be angry about that actually makes sense. And feels ethically sound for me. It was bipartisan murder for sure, made class consciousness more visible across the political divide. Yeah, as somebody else said, it became an up and down instead of a left and right. Started becoming an up and down fight, and that's the one thing most states, most government institutions in the world have been trying to like avoid for a very long time. They don't want up and down fights. Up and down fights are exactly what they want avoided. And it's kind of cool to see people kind of realize, like, yeah, this shit isn't working, is it? Yeah, it's not really working, is it? Hey, do you guys think it's working? No, I don't think anybody here agrees. Huh. So, and then to make it sort of, for like normies or whatever, it's now more like societally acceptable to basically question those things or be distrusting of them. A lot of people out there, and they like, I don't agree with them. There's some people that I listen to and I still respect. But and I guess some people would be like, they would call themselves more like centrist or whatever. Their main concern in the arguments I've heard regarding like, oh, we shouldn't be like condoning kind of radicalists or radical things or whatever. It's kind of a weird argument. They're concerned with, oh, well, if there's too much, and I used to be concerned with this, but I'm becoming less so. But anyway, if the institutions aren't trusted, then things get shaky, and when things get shaky, that's when people die, right? When the institutions aren't like trusted anymore. And so there's like this concern with like, oh no, we can't start thinking that like, something like that crime, it was a good thing. No, we can't start like, and in my mind, I don't consider the action itself of anything that great. It's because I'm not really into like just getting like revenge, like that's that's an afterthought. But I do enjoy the conversation and the thinking and how it's become more like it's becoming more societally or normally acceptable to be like, yeah, you know what? Fuck these things. Fuck these systems. They're fucking us up, right? And I would so rather be in a world in which that is like the talk of the hour, and not gender or race or conservative and liberal. I just, that shit is so fucking boring now. Like we know this shit doesn't work. We know that our system of law is all fucked. We know that our medical everything is fucked. We know that education is fucked. But it's like this weird sort of balanced kind of fucked. It's like, yeah, but it's fucked, but like let's work together. We're going to make it better. Watch. It's going to get better. We just see. You just got to show up to more meetings. Show up to more meetings and talk to talk to your governor and all that kind of stuff. And I get it. That stuff helps for sure. But that stuff usually only helps when everything isn't as infested with corruption as it is. And yeah, I guess that's kind of what's been inspiring, is just to see, like, I saw a video of I don't know, there was like a video of like a DJ or something. There was a lot of people there, and he started like showing pictures of Luigi Mangione behind him as they were like, and people were just like, like cheering for it and stuff. But the only thing that is scary about it is that, man, like, it depends on who takes it and runs with it. It has so much potential. There's genuine comparison to be made to the conditions now and the conditions of France right before the revolution, especially regarding visible inequality. Yeah. See, but that's the thing. Like, the hope is we've had enough education, whether it was people watching documentaries on Netflix, or it was TikTok videos talking about history and other things, or it was like the culture wars of the last 20 years on the internet or whatever. Like, whatever. I'm hoping that with that stuff in mind, the complexity and the nuance of conversation that's been had amongst millions of people at this point, I'm hoping that if such an occurrence were to happen, we're past thinking that just a bloodbath is enough to fix anything, because it obviously hasn't. Like, right? It hasn't fixed shit. Every time there's a bloodbath, it doesn't fix anything. We've seen over the last like 80, no, like more like 100 years now, but well, anyway, since the advent, especially post Vietnam, we've been seeing, we're fed like constantly, like, look at this country and it's exploding and falling apart. Oh, there's all this corruption here, and all this awful shit over here, and all this awful shit over there, right? And we've seen what rampant violence and stupid coups and shit like that do, right? And the problems that causes, right? So I'm hoping that if something of that nature were to escalate, we would actually have a better head on our shoulders. Doubtful, but interesting. But it could also be taken advantage of by very, very bad actors. Very, very easily. So that's the part where it concerns me. So anyway, that was a complete crazy tangent. But yeah, I'm angry again. I'm starting to get angry, and it's giving me motivation. another interesting thing, sometime in January, probably beginning of January, I'm going to start taking Adderall. I've tried a bunch of, what do you call them? Non-stimulant medications for my ADHD stuff, my inattentive ADHD. And I think a lot of the times the combination of the inattentive ADHD symptoms and issues plus some of the schizoid shit and depression and other things of that nature, and sort of like bad sleep because of it and so on and so forth, I think it fucks with my... It doesn't make me more apathetic, but it makes me more tired all the time. And I need to not be tired. Because a angst that isn't tired all the time, I would say I would say I could be a force to be reckoned with. But I gotta stop being tired all the time. I want the energy that I had with the anger and the fire that I had in my 20s, but the, I guess, quote-unquote wisdom of a 40-year-old. It's gone through various arcs. D-Man's America is headed back to a dark place. It's inevitable. Don't forget about the tens of millions of heavily armed, poorly educated, and systematically misinformed citizens. Yeah, well. I mean, that if it goes bad, that's what was going to happen anyway. That's unavoidable. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully there's enough education to some degree that it won't just revert back to the same bullshit that never works if things got that bad. I'm hoping things don't get that bad. I'm hoping that that the people at the top get fucking scared and start realizing that self-preservation is more important than greed. That's literally like one of the only things they would understand. People with that much power and wealth is being reminded that self-preservation is more important than greed. So I'm starting to feel angry again. It gives me motivation. Going to get Adderall for energy. Oh boy, something's brewing. Oh yeah. Well, it'll let me focus. I've been reading, and watching a lot of videos on people that tried non-stimulants and did Adderall, their experiences with it. If it works like it does on a lot of ADHD people, on me, that's going to be interesting. Energy and motivation. If stuff starts giving me dopamine and I can focus. The only thing I'm afraid of at that point is losing that power. Yeah. Wait, what do you mean when you're at the top? No, that's the thing. They should be more afraid of self-preservation than losing money and power. I think that's kind of like what the action of the shooter kind of caused. It made a lot of these people that felt like this system's just going to churn on, and I'm going to be at the top forever. Like, it reminded them that regardless of that, they are very mortal. And that triggered like a feeling of self-preservation in a lot of these people on a very instinctual level, I think. And that's good. That's very good. Now the problem becomes if they really want to have their cake and eat it too. That's when things get yucky. Is when that self-preservation doesn't mean, okay, you know what, I'm time to give stuff up because this is crazy. This is going to be bad for me, everyone, my family. Well, yeah, I guess so. Would be, but and that they're going to willing to make concessions, significant concessions. It wouldn't even take that much to, well, actually, it would take a lot, but it wouldn't be unfeasible for them to give enough concessions to where this possible disaster can be averted. But oh man, you know what? Uh, yeah, I've taken so many different medications, and non-stimulants don't work for me. D-meds, I trust me, I would be taking that instead. But guess what? Insurance won't cover it. And why? Because I can't be diagnosed as a narcoleptic. I tried modafinil for like a 2 months or like a month and a half or something. Oh, like a month. I think I only got like a month's worth. I was taking it every morning. That shit was Kino for me. Like, because one of my major issues is intrusive sleep. My brain not stimulated, shuts down, goes to sleep. The moment you put something that stimulates my brain, I'm awake all of a sudden. So it fucks with my ability to do a lot of things, like sit down and for like 2 hours straight and read a book. I have to like take all these breaks in between. At work, same thing. It slows me down in so many ways. It makes me physically tired. It's like awful. But I don't have narcolepsy. I wouldn't be considered. I wouldn't be diagnosed for narcolepsy. So when my psychiatrist at that time, I have a different one, tried to prescribe to me modafinil because I told him about this intrusive sleep plus ADHD stuff. He's like, well, it's not really used for ADHD, but it could work in a similar way, and it more than likely will keep you awake regardless of this issue, right? And when I was using it, man, did it fucking work? Yeah, it worked. But yeah, they won't cover it. So they'll cover Adderall. So it's got to be Adderall. I need something. But yeah, I don't want to be tired anymore. I want to be angry. I want to do something about it. I want to be pissed again. And not like this kind of, like I said, this kind of empty, cold rage. I'm tired of feeling like this. This cold rage has been all I felt for like 15 years at least. And anytime I would get angry, it was just I would crash into a depression. I don't want to crash into a depression just because I'm angry anymore. I want to stay angry. Well, I'm gonna give the Adderall a shot. It seems I've seen videos of people that have taken it for like a few years and they're fine. I know that like I've talked to people that don't have ADHD that are taking Adderall and they're like, oh yeah, it kept me up for like 3 days and all this kind of shit and like blah blah blah. But I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't be fucking using that shit to like finish your term paper. That's crazy. I need to get more shit done. I need to get a lot more shit done. That's one of the most frustrating things because I do remote work and I know I have the intelligence and the competence to get a lot more work done faster. And that will give me enough wiggle room to like essentially like juggle multiple things at once. Like I want to be able to like be clicking on one thing over here and looking at one thing and not getting stuck on either. That's the hardest part, is unsticking and sticking, unsticking and sticking. It kills me. It kills me. Like, just to stay awake, because of the intrusive sleep, I have like I have two weights right here. I would like I'll do like an hour of work and I'll start feeling like and I'll just get on the floor, start doing some push-ups, or start lifting the weights, throw some water on my face. It's horrible. It's horrible. It's not fun. I'm tired of doing that. I don't think I'll ever inspire so many of you to start getting angry as well. I think many of you think it's a resigned void or bust, but I don't think it has to be. Some of the most intelligent, kind, understanding, highly metacognitive, competent people I've ever met in my entire fucking life have been many of the people I've encountered on the Schizoid server, the Zoid Void. But so many of them, and I don't want to use this word because it implies like it's their fault or something, and that is definitely not what I mean, but so much of that potential is just squandered. Utterly squandered. And I'm tired of seeing that. I'm tired of seeing all this internal potential be squandered. Just thrown away because of all the negative symptoms, because of all this, the inability to actually, like, to never essentially have dealt with all the trauma that led up to this kind of complete disconnect. And we're the only ones that could pull ourselves out of this shithole. That's it. But I hate pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. Shit's fucking annoying. You can't do that when you don't have straps on your boots, or you don't have boots at all. It's fucking stupid. But God, I wish people could just be angry. Find your anger. Find your anger. Use it. Not for something stupid. You've gained a lot of wisdom over the years being like this. If you're a schizoid, you know what I'm talking about. You've gained a lot of kind of compassion for the suffering of living things. You've gained a lot of, you can put your mind in other places and positions. You've understood what it is like to feel like you're drowning in that darkness and that void. You know what that is, right? I think with that wisdom, the wisdom that comes with suffering and understanding suffering, and a high degree of cognitive empathy that you actually care about, not like you have cognitive empathy. That's what's kind of really funny is people say that schizoids don't have effective empathy, and they have like, but they generally have a lot of cognitive empathy. The only thing I would argue is technically a lot of psychopaths have a high degree of cognitive empathy and no effective empathy, at least not for anybody that doesn't serve them in some way. But a schizoid claims to not have effective empathy, yet that cognitive empathy controls, drives, and dictates a lot of what they do with their life. What they participate and don't participate, what they condone, what they don't condone, what they will take part in, what they will scoff at, what they will be disgusted by. It almost feels like oh no, no. Don't be angry at everything, everyone in the world. No, 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 no. No, be angry. Be angry at the fact that people aren't doing something about it. And use that anger to do something about it. No impotent rage at nothing. Or self-pity anger. No. None of that. That stuff, I did that stuff for a long time. It's worthless. It's useless. Now, use that righteous indignation. It's in there. It's in there. That's why a lot of schizoids have these ethical systems, why they have these strong rules and stuff that they set themselves by. And that their cognitive empathy isn't just, they don't, like, why does the schizoid not use this lack of effective empathy and this very, like, well developed cognitive empathy? Why don't we use it to manipulate others? Why don't schizoids use it to manipulate others, to hurt others, to take from them? Why don't we do that? Right? Why? Because there's something there. There's some kind of deep disgust for injustice and unfairness. It's part of what made you want to just no longer be a part of the world and others. Find that righteous indignation that's buried in there, that disgust for the unfairness of so much of what people do to each other. Become vocal of it. Write, speak, sing, draw, fight. Even if it feels futile, if it feels useless to you. Stop being too empathetic. I mean, not empathetic, sorry, apathetic. Empathetic's fine. But don't, but use that, like, implement that cognitive empathy. Implement it, use it. Step one, maybe use it to help your fellow schizoids in some way. One of the ways you can help, join the server. Talk with other Zoids. Let the lurkers see what can be possible, what can be done. When you accomplish something as a schizoid, you produce something, you make a change in something, post it, talk about it. Then other Zoids will see it and be like, wait, I also don't like that unfairness. I also don't like that thing. This other person that deals with the amount of apathy and such is still doing something. Why am I not? What have I rationalized inside my mind, justified continuously in order to remain inactive, to remain? Is it improving your life to do that? No. Would it improve your life to do the opposite? I can't tell you. But could it improve another life? Probably. I don't know if it's too late, but I posted an answer for the Dear Angst. Oh, sure, I'll read it. Thank you. Maybe somebody else did, but didn't type anything. I just don't understand the argument for apathy anymore. It's like, okay, your argument is everything's so bad, who cares? All right, go do that by yourself then. Go do that by yourself. Why even like, just go do it by yourself. It's just like, anyway. Like, I don't understand the idea of advocating for apathy. I think it's a very stupid thing to advocate. Advocating for apathy. It's it's fucking retarded. Fighting in defense of apathy. I guess it's a passion. Anyway,
Okay, I can't let that one go by.
go ahead.
Not a matter of advocating for apathy.
Uh-huh.
My apathy stems from exhaustion with the futile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. If somebody wants to be apathetic, just be apathetic. I just don't understand the idea of advocating for apathy to others. Like telling others, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You should just give up. Who cares? It's all fucked. We're all gonna die." Like people that like advocate for it. I don't understand that. Like it's a
Oh, there's a difference between apathy and nihilism.
well, I'm a productive nihilist, so I'm that nihilism
Okay.
doesn't matter. Like that's it's irrelevant. No, but I'm talking about like you know how there's like it feels like this. You know how there's atheists that just go like, yeah, I'm an atheist, but whatever, and then they just live their life. And then there's the atheists that are almost anti-theist, and they like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and they become like anytime they see anything, like oh, I need to debunk it. I need to say something. I need to fight it. I need to this. I need to da 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 like all the time. Like when it comes to like
In
just
my
people having
opinion,
their own
all of
private
that
beliefs.
stems from, yeah, in my opinion, all of that stems from arrogance and self-absorption. Be like me.
It might be, but I feel the same way about like advocating for like black pilling everyone, being black pilled about everything. Like it's just okay. Like, why is that your passion? To make other people follow that, to make an argument for that. Like, why is that the passion? I mean, I'm glad you have a passion for something, but I don't understand it. Okay, I got a submission here. I'm gonna read because somebody posted it. All right. Uh, let's see here. Dear Angst, it helps me in regards to dark humor and its usefulness. For a lot of this, it helps me bypass the stress or negative emotion I'm feeling. I'm a fan of shitposting and absurdism type of humor, which distances myself from reality. It's taking a step away to find a different type of humor in things. It's like a neat story to cut around the stress. It isn't a great way to get around it though, and can be hard to do or ineffective. Sometimes the focus can't be brought off those negative emotions though. Escape is impossible, only very partially. In regards to having laughed at the things to stay sane, yeah, we'll touch this on the next part. All right, here we go. I made the habit of looking back at my past self and laughing at whatever I could. This started when I was around 6, and I've been doing it since. It started out as looking at how I was worse in the past and bullying that past version of me. I otherfied past me into a different person, referred to my past me as them, and present me as me. I became a bully to that past self who couldn't react. Eventually, I started to make fun of myself for enjoying absurdities in life and using what other people said and I took negatively in some way and used it against myself again. Eventually, it wasn't just my past self, but my present self as well. It helped me give clarity in life, abstract it into something manageable, and gave it this weird partial positive spin to it. It wasn't without its negatives though. I also like dressing life, adding own meanings to things. We can't enjoy a sunset in all the ways possible. We possibly can unless we dress it with meaning, for example, with shit posting and absurdist humor to help things in similar ways. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Right? Um, I find like as somebody that's like I said a productive nihilist, like I find this kind of beauty and the absurdity and the silliness and the futility. I find a certain beauty in like fighting in the face of futility. Um, some may call it stupidity. I call it admirable. But I guess it just depends. That's just a matter of philosophy, I guess, at that point. Um, but yeah, I find very strange beauty in very somber things at times. Um, yeah, but I know plenty of nihilists that are not like militant nihilists. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of the difference. Like, there's a nihilist, that's fine. That's like a personal belief, right? But then there's like this militant nihilist that almost like wants to make sure they remind everybody about their truth about everything. And that's weird to me. That's like that's kind of what like Ziz said. That's stemming from a different issue. Like just being the thing, like just being black pilled does not make you actively want to seek out to have others join you in their crusade to give up on everything. Um, Sunk cost personality. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, I guess that could be a thing. If you're so used to being a certain way for so long, you might actually like defend any threat against it. Even if that thing is to be like fatalistic or something about everything. Huh, that's interesting. Anyway, yeah. The sunk cost fallacy in regards to the identity you constructed for yourself. I think that's probably pretty common. People probably do that all the time. I think that's why a lot of people go crazy when they lose like or when they fail in their careers because their careers become everything about them and that they've turned it into their personality and then they can't deal with the cost that they sunk into it being like thrown away or whatever the investment being losing its um losing its highs but yeah, that's amusing. So I think on Tuesdays when I do stream, I'm probably just gonna end up talking about something that's pissing me off that week. Um, I think like I don't know how to explain it. Like the other day, I was like so angry, and I felt like this just anger, but it felt like good. It felt like I was feeling myself, and I was like, wow, like right now I'm too angry to be depressed. Yeah, and I got angry at myself for being constantly like just morose about all these very important things. It felt like a weird form of like existential self pity that felt kind of gross. Anyway, oh yeah, they're far worse. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. In the olden days, I like myself some diogenistic cynicism. That's some good shit. Put that shit in my veins. Um, in any case, all right, guys. Well, unless anybody else wants to say something in chat or chime in some other way or something, share something, huh? Right? Asking schizoids to share shit in chat, right? It's very unlikely usually. I think I'm kind of spent, and we'll see. We'll see how the Adderall kicks in. If I get that, we'll see how it affects the work I do and a variety of other things. Maybe it'll give me zoomies, and I'll just be like, or it'll destroy my life or something. I don't think it would do that. I would never allow that to happen. But if you like the stream, support me on Patreon or send me PayPal donation. That those couple of bucks I get from the Patreon and those couple of bucks that sometimes some of you guys send. Man, they're a lifesaver. They help a lot more than you would think. All right. Well, I'll play us out with a nice little song. That guy I was playing at the beginning of the stream that has the cool songs also covered. Have you ever seen The Rain? And he does a pretty damn good job with it. So I'll play us out with that. If you like Clarence Clearwater, if you do not know about Clarence Clearwater, that is some beautiful shit. Yeah, I love shit like that. I love like catchy, depressing music. Like it's really fun. So I was a big fan of Eels. If you know who Eels are, great fucking band. Great fucking band. Super depressing content, like lyrically, but with like a little kind of feel to it, which is really funny to me. Yeah, very kind of absurdist in certain ways. All right. As usual, when day is dark, always remember, happy day.
Someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain a sunny day. I know, shining down like water. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down a sunny day. Yesterday, days before, sun is cold, rain is high. I know, been that way for all my time. Till forever on it goes, the circle fast and slow. I know, it can't stop, I wonder. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down on a sunny day. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down on a sunny day.
Well, what did mosquitoes eat you alive?
I got 3 on my arm right now.
Oh my.